Welcome everybody once again to our interview today. My name is Katrin Hamacher. I'm a clinical psychologist and psychotherapist specializing in systemic therapy, and I'm hosting this project in order to empower diversity in the education and practice of psychology and psychotherapy. And today I have a special guest who is called Dr. Gilbert Madubuike, and our topic for today is the efficacy of Ifunanya. Thank you very much. Psychotherapy. So Dr. Madubuike developed this approach. Yeah, but before we learn about this psychotherapeutic approach, please, Dr. Madubuike.
Yes.
Talorine, thank you very much for joining us for this project. Please, can you give us some information about yourself, your profession, and your personal reasons why you specialized in mental health?
Thank you very much for inviting me. God will bless you. My names are Venerable Gilbert Madubuike, a native of Okija in the local government area, Anambra State. And by the grace of God, I'm a priest of the Anglican Church, a venerable of the Diocese of Awka Anglican Communion, Church of Nigeria. I had my PhD in Clinical Psychology in 2014 from the University of Nigeria. I have been teaching psychology since then. I'm also a member of the World Council of Psychotherapy Nigerian chapter, and also a member of Nigeria Psychological Association, and a fellow of the Institute of Policy Management and Development. I have written many journals, published locally and internationally, and have equally published many books. As a pastor, a theologian, educationist, and a psychologist, I have served the church in many capacities. I served the church and the state. I have served as Archbishop Examining Chaplain, supervisor special duty, Anambra State, chaplain Federal Government College, Nice, chaplain Anglican Teachers Forum, a member of the Diocesan Education Board, Dean, Student Affairs, Paul University, Awka, Archdeacon of the Archdeacon of Archdeacon, and so on. And presently, I am the Provost of the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, Okija. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. What encouraged you personally to specialize in psychology and psychotherapy? What are your personal reasons?
Well, I'm an Igbo person, and Igbo has a belief that that is to say that every human being is one. We are one. And again, there is also an Igbo adage and a saying that says, you should never forsake your brother or your sister. So, Ifunanya is like a binding wire that binds people together as one. So I was worried, why is it that some people, recover quickly with certain psychotherapists and others do not? I begin to ask that question. And I discovered that one thing that is common to us all psychotherapy is Ifunanya, that is an unconditional love, or what you call agape love. Whenever there is no love in any human endeavor, success will hardly be their right. Therefore, I also gave an assignment to my students to go and find out the import and the effect of this word, Ifunanya therapy. And they came out with the result that Ifunanya is common to all tribes in Nigeria, though they call it different names. But one thing that is common in their write-up was that the binding wire of any society or any group is Ifunanya, that is an unconditional type of love. This type of love is not sentimental, non-emotional. In fact, it breaks the barriers of racism, barriers of religion, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. So it is a type of love that is self-giving, self-satisfying. Denying oneself pleasure in order to satisfy the need of another person. Therefore, this therapy, though is an indigenous Igbo psychotherapy, but it has a universal application. That is to say that every society and every therapy cannot effectively achieve their goal without having this unconditional love, which is called Ifunanya therapy, because it encompasses empathy, compassion, social cohesion, caring, patriotism, reciprocal giving and receiving. And when you found all these things in any therapy or any society, that society or therapy will definitely succeed. But without them, the individual and even the society will suffer a lot of psychological problems.
Thank you very much. So you already explained to us the term of Ifunanya, which is an Igbo word, which can be translated as unconditional love, right?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. And you also told us a bit about the history of it.
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. So, what would you say are the core aspects of Ifunanya psychotherapy apart from unconditional love?
Well, the core aspects of Ifunanya therapy are three, namely awareness, feeling, and action. That is to say that for an individual to relate well with other people, he must first of all be aware of the oneness, the interconnectedness and interrelatedness. That is to say that the common source of every psychopathology is lack of Ifunanya, that is lack of unconditional love. So when you are aware that every human being is one, and then you begin to develop a feeling of empathy, a feeling of love, a feeling of compassion towards that person. And this feeling is usually manifested in action. Action that can be seen, can be measured, and can be observed. That's why whenever you are talking about Ifunanya, which is more of a practice, it's something that is concrete. You see the effect of the love in people's life. It's not a question of saying, I love you, no. But doing things that will actually show that you love the person. For instance, you are here. You didn't tell us, you have not told us you loved us. But for the fact that you spent a lot to be here, showed you have a love for us. And we also accepting you is showing that we love you. But we have not said it. So it's action oriented. The action you show towards people show whether you are aware that no matter your color, no matter your religion, we are all one. And the binding wire of that oneness is nothing but Ifunanya, that is this unconditional love. So when you have an awareness of who you are, what is expected of you, and you have the feeling that will lead to a positive action, then your problem is solved. Because when you are not properly aware of who you are or what you are expected to do, and you begin to have negative feeling, it will eventually lead to negative action. You see? So that is to say that awareness, feeling, and action overlap. So every individual, in order to have a physical and mental health, must first of all realize that we are one. It's just like a melody, music. When you are hearing music, you have about different four parts, alto, treble, bass, and tenor. When they are playing in unison, you only hear music. The same thing happens when people realize that they are one. no matter what position you have, no matter whatever you do, no matter the tribe you are, then we begin to realize God's potential, and then health will be restored.
Okay, thank you very much. So, is it also like based on an understanding of actions speak louder than voices?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, thank you very, very much for introducing that to us.
Because I may say I love you, but my action is telling you that I hate you. So it is action that actually matters, not necessarily what you say. And emotional love is all about action. I mean, love, and it's about the word, not action. Because you are loving with a condition. But here, you are loving somebody for no condition, without any condition. You are just loving the person because you believe that you and the person are one. Yes, you are one.
Thank you very much. So, now, when it comes to the practice of this approach, what are there specific methods that you use or specific questions that you ask in this kind of therapy?
Well, the specific method, like I said before, focuses on the issue of Ifunanya, that is unconditional love. Because Ibix Moford, 1906, he made a point to say that he wrote to Carl Rogers and said that psychoanalysis in all essence occur through love. So, but before I go into the method of Ifunanya therapy, I want to talk about the basic assumptions of this therapy. There are about 4. Number 1 is that an individual's ability to give and receive an unconditional reciprocal love to self and others result to psychopathology. Then number 2, mental and physical health is possible only through an individual's awareness of his oneness, relatedness, interconnectedness in the universe. And then number 3, every individual has the potential to express Ifunanya or lack of Ifunanya, depending on their childhood experiences, perception of betrayal, abandonment, and frustration. Then number 4, problems are not caused by others or events, but by the individual's response to self and others. Then, having said the basic assumptions, then the strict method of psychotherapy, Ifunanya psychotherapy, is that first of all, the psychotherapist will provide a safe, confident environment that will be conducive for psychotherapy intervention. Then, having created that environment that is devoid of any dissatisfaction or sexual aversions or other problems that may interfere with the intervention, then the therapist will, through clinical interview, observation, and administration of Ifunanya test, find out the client's ability or inability in his interpersonal relationship with himself or herself and others. This will enable him to discover through vocalization of the client, his action, communication, verbal and non-verbal, will show the degree to which the individual has an awareness of his or her interconnectedness, his or her feeling towards self and others, and the actions or inactions he has taken in consequence of that feeling. Then, having explored these major aspects of Ifunanya therapy, the psychotherapist will then enable the client to find self-enhancing ways of returning back to the source of life, which is Ifunanya. That is Ifunanya therapy. Because unless an individual incorporate himself with the source of life, which is Ifunanya, that individual will always feel isolated, frustrated, depressed, and of course, anxious. So, it is through the awareness, feeling, and action that the psychotherapist will be able to discover whether the individual has developed the sense of seeing and accepting self as well as others as they are, as well as learning to adapt empathy, compassion in dealing with the other human beings, as well as learning to forgive in all circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have, I think, 3 new questions now that come to my mind since you presented this very interesting core aspects. Please, how can we as a psychotherapist create this environment that you told us about? This environment for us us as psychotherapists, but also for the client in the psychotherapy. How can we create this Ifunanya environment?
Well, how to create it is that you don't do psychotherapy in open market. It must be in an enclosure, probably in a room, with a comfortable chair. And the intervention is usually between the psychotherapist and the client, without any interference by any other person. And when the person is seated and relaxed, then the psychotherapist will engage the client in clinical interview. That is the first thing to do. Then as you are talking to the client is responding. Then from the vocalization and the action of the client, you'll be able to know whether that client is harboring some remorse or remorse feeling against people, or whether he has actually accepted himself the way he is, and also accepted others the way they are. Because everybody cannot be the same. So if you can't understand yourself, that's why some people commit suicide. Because they see themselves as a failure. They believe that they are not yet reconciled with themselves. They don't even love themselves. And if they don't love themselves, then they cannot love others. So the therapist will, through this clinical interview, discover to what extent the client is able to, have the awareness that is one with others, and to be able to understand himself and understand others, and have a positive feeling towards them, and then begin to take actions that will also, go in the same line of positivity instead of negativity.
Thank you very much. My second question that came up was, you said that there's a test of Ifunanya.
Yes.
That would be administered.
Yes, it administered, but it's still on the pipeline and still developing.
You're developing it.
Yeah,
okay. All right. Thank you very much. So I hope we will stay in touch, and one day when you are done with it, we will be happy to get to know.
I'll definitely do that.
All right. That's great. Okay. Thank you. There was a third question, but unfortunately I forgot it now. Please, by the way, if you have any questions, those people who join us for the first time, please feel free to type the questions in the chat, and I will read it out, and Dr. Madubuike will be happy to answer them. Thank you very, very much. So, my next question is, which mental health symptoms can be treated with Ifunanya therapy?
Well, like I said initially, Ifunanya therapy, though originated from Igbo belief system, but it has a common application throughout the whole universe. That is to say that any mental problem an individual is suffering will be solved by Ifunanya therapy. I quoted Simon Freud, who said that even psychoanalysts, they bring about their healing through love. That is to say that no psychotherapy can effectively achieve much without love. That love exists not only in the psychotherapeutic process, but even outside the psychotherapeutic room. Because if you are a psychotherapist and you are working with your client, and I as a client don't love you, I don't like your personality, then it will definitely affect the result of that psychotherapy. But when I love you, I understand you, no matter your personality, and you as a client also understand me as a client and love me, not for any attachment, not even because of the fee, just because you believe that all of us are one. Then that psychotherapy will be effective. So Ifunanya therapy, as far as I know, a course across all psychotherapies. You can never talk about any psychotherapy that will work without love, because that love actually restores harmony. If you look at Igbo was talking about harmony, and harmony can never be restored where there is no love, even between a family, even between a tribe and a tribe, or a nation and a nation. There can never be love. Why it is still fighting today? It's not because of lack of love, because there's no love. And as long as you don't have that genuine, positive regard and unconditional love, then hatred will creep in. And when that hatred creep in, jealousy will creep in, envy will creep in, and people will begin to fight and kill one another, forgetting that all of us are one. That's why I give you the Igbo belief that says that Madine good. That means everybody is one. No matter your color, no matter your tribe, we are just one. Because we are created by one God. And we have one function. That is to be able to show love. To be able to show that love is always a problem that can even lead to suicide. If you look at some families today, the husband and the wife do no longer relate well. Why? Because every one of them has his own unique personality. I can never, as a psychologist, believe that no two persons are exactly alike. So I can never be behaving exactly the way you're behaving. But when you are able to understand me, tolerate me, and forgive me, then we can work together. And we can never work together where there is no harmony. And there can never be harmony where there is no love.
Thank you very much, Dr. Madubuike. So, actually you already answered then the question of who can profit from this, from receiving Ifunanya psychotherapy.
Yes.
Because if I got you right, it's universal.
It's universal because you know that this love has connection with the brain function. Because when you are showing love to somebody, then there is a chemical transmitters in the brain we call the oxytocin or serotonin. They are stimulated because they are pleasurable hormones. Yes, the person begin to feel happy. You know, when you feel you are loved, you feel happy. Had it been that when you came here, nobody received you, nobody want to relate with you. I mean, mentally, you begin to be worried and frustrated. So it's connected with the brain. And every person that has brain will benefit from this psychotherapy. We definitely believe. Because it's not only that, that's what I said before. When somebody is doing something good to you, you are happy. And because you are happy, you also like to extend that goodness to other people. And when you control that way, there will be social cohesion, there will be solidarity. People will begin to relate together. And nothing can surpass that powerful energy, which is love. That is why you see some people can even commit suicide because of lack of love. When somebody that loves you genuinely is now breaking that love, you will feel happy. Can make you to be frustrated and even to contemplate committing suicide. So it is common to everybody. It's really common.
Thank you very much. Someone wrote in the chat, yes. I'm happy about this Ifunanya therapy because it is important that Africans develop African-originated forms of psychotherapy for treatment of Africans. Thank you very much for this comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so my next question is, who can be trained in Ifunanya therapy?
Well, originally, before the European psychotherapy, our kindreds, assist in Ifunanya therapy. And how they do that is that when they discover that you have a problem, they rally around and enable you to overcome that problem. And how do they do that? They do that through collaboration. For example, assuming that they discover that you are worried because you are not able to build a house, then your kindred, that's what we call the primary group, they will rally around and then assist you to build that house. Maybe you are worried or frustrated because you have reached the age of marriage, but you cannot marry. Then they will call you together, rally around, and enable you to marry. So in that way, they are helping to solve a psychological problem using Ifunanya therapy. But with this one that I have developed, people who will benefit from it are usually people who have a first degree in psychology or other social sciences. They can begin to be trained to use it in a more refined level of sitting the person down, hearing the person out, and applying these principles of Ifunanya therapy, which includes the issue of empathy, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance. And these are the exact thing that is lacking in our society today. People lack tolerance. People lack forgiveness. And as long as these things are not there, then hatred will become a boundary. You understand? And when that hatred creates that boundary, people are bound to be isolated. People are bound to feel alone. And people will also sometimes even hate themselves. After all, why was I born in Nigeria? And when you begin to ask yourself such questions, you will discover that that person is being isolated in one way or another. And this thing will eventually result to psychological problem. So every graduate of psychology, psychotherapy, or any social science can equally benefit in the training of Ifunanya therapy.
Nationally and internationally.
Nationally and internationally, because it's just, you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Like now, even in your own family, if you are not in good terms with your father and mother, you won't even be, you can't even concentrate here. You'll be worried. You understand? So it's common to, it has a universal application. It's common to everybody. It can be applied to everybody, both Africans and non-Africans. Unless you can tell me anybody in the world who doesn't need love, who doesn't need to be loved. Everybody wants to be loved. And of course, even in the scripture says that the most excellent gift in this world is the gift of love. If you have all the gifts, you can prophesy, you can speak in tongues, you can do this and do that, but you lack the gift of love, then you lack everything. Because anything you are able to achieve without love is equal to nothing. Because you cannot build humanity.
Thank you very, very much. So, another question, a new one. Do you think what could be challenges and chances to implement Ifunanya therapy inside and outside Nigeria?
Well, what will be the hindrances is the barriers and boundaries created by human beings. Because human beings created boundary of tribe, politics, racism, and so on and so forth. And as long as these man-made boundaries are there will be discrimination. And it will be a barrier to Ifunanya therapy. That is why the focus of the Ifunanya therapy is to break those boundaries and barriers, because it cuts across. No matter wherever you are, no matter wherever you come from, as long as you're a human being, you and I are one. So we should relate as one, not one in color or one in thinking, but one in having love for one another. That is one. There can never be a time all of us will be the same color or the same height or even have the same personality. But you find that Ifunanya therapy even exists in 3 levels. That is the what we call the spiritual or higher level, and then the physical and personality level. Now, in the spiritual level, you see that love, transcends from transcendental being to you. That is to say that I am loving you because God loved me. And because God loved me, I owe it as a duty to love you. So it flows down from higher being to you. If I owe it as a duty to extend that goodness which I received from God. That is spiritual level. Then in the physical level, then I need to express that love in thought, word, and deed. Because when I begin to say, I love you, past my mother, I do this, I do that, but my action contradicts what I'm saying, then it's of no use. Or when I'm loving you because of what I get from you, that's what we call conditioned love, then it is of no use. That means if I cannot get anything from you, I will not love you. That is no Ifunanya. That's why you see that in English and other languages, a love has many types. But in Igbo, love Ifunanya is only one. There can never be love for girl or love for boy. No, love is universal. Hence, I love you, I love you. But in English, you can have eros. That is a romantic love. You can also have philia. That means I love you because you are my child or my mother. But this one is not about that. It's just an action-oriented love that flows from an individual to every other person, not minding where you come from and not with regard to what you are going to get. That's why I say it is sacrificial. It is self-giving. You can even suffer in order to make another person to benefit. You understand? Like if you look at the issue of Nandi that is now in detention. You find out that he is not there because of what he's going to get, as far as I know, but it's simply because he loves Igbo people. And he will not be happy seeing Igbo people being treated. So he preferred to die instead of sitting and seeing his people suffer. That is the type of love we are talking. The type of love that you want to give yourself. Take the risk so that other person will be happy. You understand? So that's why it's internal. It's more of internal, but it's also external. It's from internal, then you come out to external. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very, very much. So, what could be aspects that individuals could implement in their everyday life to improve their mental health with this approach?
Well, I think, like I said before, that, some people, don't have this Ifunanya therapy because, or Ifunanya love, because right from the time they were born, they begin to experience frustration, hatred, discrimination, even from their family. And when they grow into adults, they begin to also extend the same hatred to other people. So in order for one to improve his health condition, he will have to forgive those people that wronged him or her, right from the family. Not only forgiving them, he will also try to reunite with them by extending love. You know how it will look like when you did something bad to somebody and the person is returning it with good. It will definitely bring a change in you. So these people, in order to improve their health condition, will definitely learn how to tolerate, how to forgive, how to accommodate. Because as long as you don't have the ability to tolerate people, to forgive people, to accommodate people, then you will always have problems. Because you can never be happy. And as long as you are not happy, you will develop frustration. And so, you see, more importantly, some people, that an individual, psychology believe that human beings are what we call psychosomatic. That means the spirit and the body. Now, if the spirit and the body are not united, then the person will become anxious and frustrated. And the only way you can unite the spirit and body is to love yourself. Let the spirit and the body have harmony, and that harmony comes by love. And when you yourself is in harmony, and myself is also in harmony, then that harmony will resonate with your own, and you begin to feel better. But when you are not in good terms with yourself, you can never relate well with another person. You cannot, because within you, you are anxious. You are experiencing post-traumatic disorder. You feel if you feel it is not worth living, life is not worth living. And when you are relating with people, you relate in that way. Therefore, I want to say that this therapy is not only about reducing pains, but it's also learning to live with inevitable, difficult challenges of life and finding laughter alongside it. Yes, that is to say that even while you are undergoing difficulties, maybe you are relating with difficult people, you try to, laugh it over, just tolerate it and go on as if life has no problem. Because there's no person that doesn't have problem. But the way that problem will affect you, it depends on the way you respond to it. If you respond to it in a negative way, it will have a mental and physical effect on you. But if you respond to it by accepting that maybe okay, now maybe I just came back and I slap you, then what do? You will say, because maybe he just got drunk somewhere, so that was why he did that. Okay, no problem. You just forgive. That's no problem. That's because you understand me. But if you don't understand me and I came back and slap you, will say, no, over my dead body, I will not agree, and we begin to fight. Because you don't understand me. But if you understand me, you can tolerate me. There was a story in the Bible about a man called Hosea who married a harlot. So after staying with the harlot for 3 weeks, the harlot will go out to meet his friends. And when he cried to God, God says, I deliberately give it to you in order to show you what these brothers are doing to me. And he has no option than to tolerate the woman. And they live together. But you know that in some other cases, that could have even ended in court. So if your ability to understand, to be aware of the person you are relating with, and also your own self, will bring about mental health. Yes.
Thank you very, very much. There is a question in the chat. I have a similar one later, so if it's okay, I would bring it up later, okay. And integrate this question. Okay. So for now, I would also like to get to know what could be aspects that societies and communities implement from this approach in order to improve mental health. Well,
the aspect that are going to implement is the aspect of the union, the uniting themselves with themselves and with others. Because as long as there is no reunion that is based on the binding factor, which is Ifunanya therapy, which is love, then you will see community fighting the other. But when I know that even though I am from community A and you are from community B, but we are one. Because why are we one? Because we are created by only one being, no matter whatever you call it. And again, all of us have one fault or the other. Nobody is perfect. And when I'm able to tolerate your imperfection and you're able to tolerate my own imperfection, then we can have solidarity. We can have cohesion. We can work together. But as long as one person cannot tolerate the other, as long as one community will not tolerate the other, then they will always work. I remember, like I told you the other day, that before, just immediately after the war or thereabout, I was a child then, and when I was returning to this Anambra state, then somebody came and gave us a very big Calabash. No, Calabash. We were hesitant to take it, but our mother told us to take it because it is these Hausa people that are doing their track. And I took it from him and ate. That is wrong. But I'm telling you that as things are now, I don't think any person from any tribe can easily do that and somebody will receive it. Because there is fear, there is hatred, there is animosity. But if you are now that you are from China, We are giving you something here and you are eating. Why? Because you know you love us. Had it been that we are fighting, Nigeria is fighting with Germany, you can't come here now. You understand? And even if you manage to come here, if you give me something, you will not eat because you don't know whether it is already poison. So that is what happens with the issue of community. So until any community or society goes back to that binding wire, because it's like a broom. No broom can sweep the house effectively unless it's tied with a rope. If you use one single broom, it cannot sweep this house. The same thing, no society can function well without tying them with love, with the binding wire. That is different therapy. As long as you don't bind them together with that, they will continue to destroy themselves, kill themselves. And then at the end, you will not achieve anything. So that is that.
Thank you. Please, could you quickly just briefly explain also to all of us the Calabash you were talking about? Can you briefly explain what it is? That you took food from the house.
Okay.
Because it's a very
now, when they grind beans, they grind it, they will fry it, put it like a box, and then you eat it. You can serve as a breakfast or anything. Yeah, so people do it. So this, we call it akara here. And the other bones, it's just like when you grind this now, you just put it in a oil. The thing will roll together, and then you eat it. It's like a gift. So what I was trying to say there is that anything, if you are able to receive anything from anybody, it means you love that person. If you don't love that person, you will not take. And as long as there is this issue of not giving, not receiving, then there's a mental problem. Because the joy comes in giving and receiving. I give you, you receive. What if I give you, you don't receive? Then there will be a problem. Or when you give me, I don't receive, then there will be a problem. You understand? So that giving and receiving is what even keeps husband and wife together. Because when you marry somebody now, you have the responsibility to give, some part of you, and the person also have the responsibility to receive. Then when you give part of you and the person refuses to refuse, then there's a problem. Or when you refuse to give, there is also a problem. So giving and receiving are part and parcel of this Ifunanya therapy. And of course, you know that within the psychotherapeutic process, that giving and receiving are also involved. Because if you are a psychotherapist, and in addition to your therapeutic process, you are extending love to me, then myself will also extend the same type of love for you. And this love I'm talking here, and like I said before, is not emotional, it's not sentimental. It's just because you are human being, and because we are one. So whatever I'm doing for you, I'm not doing it to make gain. I'm doing it to see that you are better. And whatever you're also doing for me, you are doing it not to make any gain, but just to see that I'm better. That is the focus.
Thank you. So now I would like to come back to the question that was written in the chat. Thank you very much for the question and also for the patience. So, someone is asking, now I want to learn more about this approach. Do you have recommendations for practitioners? And how and where can local people get access to the education? And how and where can international people get access to the education?
Well, for now, the only school of psychotherapy in Africa I know is the School of Psychotherapy and Health Sciences, Okija. A lot of people have been trained here, and that is the only place where somebody, when you come, you'll be drilled through to be able to have the capability and the ability to develop Ifunanya therapy. Because as I'm talking to you now, for me, I can stay with anybody, I can date with anybody. Why? Because I already have that ability not only to tolerate, but to understand people. Because when you understand somebody, you know how to relate with that person. Because the way we are relating with you now may not be the same way we are going to relate with another person. So if somebody is interested, if somebody can make it, then it is either the person comes to School of Psychotherapy and Okija, or arrangement can be made where maybe through the communication system, then the information will be, the lecture will transfer. That's the only way. But like I'm telling you before, like I was saying, the only thing that will bring peace to families, to society, is love. And when I mean love, I don't mean adulterated type of love. That is a romantic love or just every other type of love. No. I mean the love that flows from the innermost heart. I mean the love that is sacrificing. Like if I give you an example, I believe some people are Christians. We are told that Jesus Christ came and died for us. Why did he come to die? Was he a Nigerian? No. Was he from the same family with us? No. Why? Because he wants us to be better, to be perfect. He wants us to be true children of God. And that is the exact type of love we are talking about. When you are able to sacrifice your pleasure just to ensure that some other person is happy. And when that person is happy, you are happy. It's like what other African psychotherapists are saying, that you are because I am. That means that if you are not here, I will not be here. You are here because we are here. If we are not attaining where we are here now, you will be here. Because if you come here, you'll be relating with animals in the bush. And they can even harm you. So I need you, and you need me. That is the love. So anybody that is interested, either he comes to the School of Psychotherapy, or arrangement will be made on how we will be getting lectures about that.
So how can people, if maybe the opportunity to come here, thank you first of all very much for offering this opportunity, and then also for offering the opportunity to use digital means of nowadays to get in touch with you. How would that be possible? Like, would you share a contact or an email address with us? Or
it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I will post the details that Dr. Madubuike will give me under the video, which I will upload later on my YouTube channel. The link to my YouTube channel is linked to my bio in Instagram. So, or you contact me if you have my contact, because you are probably following the channel. Feel free to contact me, and I would be happy to connect you to Dr. Madubuike. So, another question is, and I asked myself the same: have you published the Ifunanya therapy in a journal or a book? Because you told us you are also publishing. Is there already literature existing?
Yes, I have published it in a book, and I think in a journal. This current journal, I think it's there. This current journal.
Let me show the people.
Yes, it's there.
The brand new, huh? This is the brand new one, right?
Yes.
This is volume 8 of the International Journal for Psychotherapy in Africa, and Dr. Madubuike published in it. Okay, yes. The Efficacy of Ifunanya, okay, Agape Love Therapy. So, there is something published in this journal. Okay, so is the article also available like online for international people who might not have access to the international?
No, for now, I only have it in this journal and also in a book. There's a book I published that I call Ecclesia Psychology. In that book, it is even more details. Because what I'm giving you is just a kind of a sketch. It's more details. And a lot of details are there But like you said, like I said, there are also some fundamental issues that as we go on with, because it's a new therapy, as we go on, we'll be also adding some skeletons, flesh to the skeleton, so that it becomes more enriching. But the only thing that made me happy is that if other renowned scholars in psychotherapy, like Sigmund Freud, identify the issue of love, then it means that no therapy can effectively work well without Ifunanya therapy. Because you see, the problem we have as a society is that love has been so bastardized that people take love to be just something that is emotional, sentimental. But it's not all that, man. That is not what it is. Even though those words, can actually reduce a kind of stress. But there are more genuine one that when it is practiced, everybody will be happy and healthy.
Thank you very much. The book that you published, do you also sell it?
Yes, I do.
All right, then maybe there will be an opportunity also to buy literature. Thank you very much. So my next question would be, why do you think it is important to exchange perspectives on mental health and related topics?
Well, the reason why I think it is very, very essential for us to do the exchange is that there has been some outcome of studies that shows that when people are united in love, then they relate well. They understand their source. They discover that nobody can do without the other. That I need you as much as you need me. And that when you are able to relate well with me and I relate well with you, then there will be nothing like frustration. There will be nothing like that. Because whatever is my need, you will do the best you can to see how you solve it. And whatever that is worrying you, that will cause you anxiety or even depression, I will do the best I can to help you. Like now, you are trying to even relate with the people, your people over there. And if through you, they are able to benefit from this psychotherapy, then you have covered them. You have covered them Ifunanya therapy. You have helped them. You have helped them to recover from their anxieties and worries. Because one of the problems that we have as individuals is because of hatred, because of envy. But it should not be so. Because like I was telling you the other time, it is very odd to compare yourself with anybody. Because now that you are here in Africa, many of your mates have not come here. They may have achieved other things, but they have not come here. And therefore, in that regard, you are greater than them in this regard. So there can never be a time when you have everything. No. Nobody is a reservoir of knowledge or everything. No. If you have one, you may not have the other. If you are tall, you may not be short. If you are short, you may not be tall. So, but when the person who is tall enables the person who is short to get whatever he wants, then something will move. Then when the person who is short enables the person who is tall to get whatever he needs, the problem is removed. Because you know that if you are tall, by the time you want to bend down to pick a pin, you may have problem with your hip. Then somebody who is short can easily pick it. Then if you are short, like I am, and you want to get something up, you have to climb a chair or table to get it. While somebody who is tall will stand there and get that. So that's to say that we need each other in order to be healthy.
So do I get it also right, like we identify, like first of all we appreciate the diversity in our characteristics, exactly. And then use this diversity or to see them as resources, exactly. That can help one another, exactly. in being healthy and achieving what we want or
yes.
what we need.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You know, because the joy of life is this diversity. Yes, that is the joy of life. Because if all of us are the same, then it becomes monotony. But because we are diverse, then we can now turn those diverse attributes to positive things instead of negative things. I will no longer be quarreling with you because you are white. But I'll be happy that at least I can see the black and the white coming together. That is the joy. Because if people are the you can see when you are here, a lot of people want to take photograph with you. Yes, because it's not that they can't do so for somebody who is black because they're already used to the person. But because you are white, they're happy, they admire you. So you find that diversity actually should be turned to benefit ventures, to be turned to something that is valuable to people, not something that is destructive like you have in Nigeria. Nigeria have over 250 ethnic groups, and then each group have their own peculiar way of life. And then instead of using those diverse way of life to advantage, some people are using it to disadvantage. That is to say that if you are not from my own tribe, then whatever that is due to you, I will not give it to you. Rather, there will be injustice, marginalization, and so on and so forth. And that's the problem we have in Nigeria today. That's the problem. Because one ethnic group believes that they are the only people that have the right to be on top. You understand? And when you begin to do such discrimination, there can never be peace. But when you realize that every group has something to offer, then you bring your own, I bring my own, we put together, then we are better off. In fact, this reminds me of what the scripture is saying in Acts of Apostles chapter 2 verse 42 to 47. He says that the early disciples had things in common. That is to say, nobody was lacking anything. Whenever it is time to eat, they will source food, even though that have property, we go and sell it to bring money so that they eat together. So when people eat together, discuss together, share common problems, share common feelings, then definitely there will be peace. And that's why even the scripture reported that they had over 3,000 converts in a day. Why? Because people were admiring the way they love each other, the way they assist each other, the way they help each other. So people were so enticed that they requested to join them. That type of love is no longer common even among some Christians today. That's why you find that many Christians cannot have such a number of converts even in the year. Because even though we preach love, we talk love, but hardly do we practice the real love.
Thank you very much. I would like to add, I'm also very honored by meeting those people that that I got the privileged opportunity to meet here. Okay. I'm very, very honored about that as well. So there were two people who asked concerning your book, is it possible to purchase it? And I would love to read it. So for these people, please feel free to reach out to me afterwards so that we can find a solution of how to get access to the literature and how they can buy the book from you. Okay. That would be lovely.
No problem, I will do that.
Okay, thank you very much. So, I'm coming to the next question. Okay. My systemic question of, suppose a miracle happened overnight.
Yes.
And one aspect about the mental health care would change for the better. How would you recognize that this miracle happened overnight? What would be different?
Well, miracle is usually done by God, and we are happy whenever we experience a miracle. So, whenever there is a miracle, that will focus on how we can reunite together, then I'll be happy and I will accept it. Because I believe that the society cannot survive without love. In fact, the scripture said, and I quote, that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. He didn't love us because we want to pay him. No. He just loved us. And in consequence of that love, he gave. That is why I said that love is not all about words. No, it's all about action. So God did not end by saying, I love the world. No. He said he gave. So if you love somebody, you must give. Not necessarily material things, but even yourself. Giving yourself. That is exactly. So when God brings about miracle that will make us to realize that we are one, then I will be happy. This all fighting and this is because even if you are the president of the whole world today, definitely you will not continue. Eventually you will start. So when you go, all those things you have collected, of what use are there? The only use that can benefit you and benefit society is that you're able to help somebody, and that person is happy. There was somebody posted in my WhatsApp. A teacher that had taught so many years, an old woman, and retired. After so many years, then the people she taught now came back with money and gift to appreciate the woman. The woman was crying. It's cry of tears, cry of joy. Why was he crying? Because there was a time he made those people happy, and now they are making her happy. They even gave her a house. You see, my brother, it was said to me. So any good you do to them, just mind this, that whether it takes 10 years or more, eventually it must come back to you. That's why we say that good thought deserves another. And if it is hatred, if you admit hatred to somebody today, then in one way or the other, that hatred will come to you or to your children. It's a golden rule. Do to others what you want them to do to you. That is important. That is love. Because what I would like you to do to me, if I do it to you, then that is love. But if I wouldn't like you to do something to me and I'm not doing something to you, then there's a problem. So that is the aspect that we are still looking to God to make that miracle. And I believe you will make it, because I have made it before. If you remember the story of Saul. Saul was a Jew who was very educated, very energetic, and very against Christians. But what happened? On the way to Damascus, where he went to kill the Christians, he encountered the spirit of love, that is the Holy Spirit. And from then on, instead of killing, he became a counselor, a preacher of the gospel. He was initially killing the people who were preaching it. That's a miracle. So if you are the type of person that has been living in hatred, and because of that you are suffering depression, and God now enables you to do away with that hatred by reuniting with your fellow human being through forgiveness, through tolerance, through empathy. That's miracle. And you will benefit. And every other person will benefit. So that change is actually what we need. Not only in our country, but in the whole world. Because if you look at the world today, you see that many countries are fighting with the other. What is the problem? It's really about hatred. At the end, you discover that none of them will ever live above 200 years. Then if you now kill and destroy because of those limited number of years you are doing, you have done harm to you, to another people, and even to your brethren. So that is why I think that if there is any psychotherapy that people must pay more particular attention to, it is Ifunanya therapy. Because no matter whatever you do, like I said before, even if you can build all the mansions in this world, but you don't have love, people will be avoiding you. Yes, they'll be avoiding you because you are of no use to them. But even if you are poor and you can give yourself and give whatever you have for the betterment of others, then you will never lack anything because they will always remember you.
Thank you very much. We're coming to my last question. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat. So my last question would be, what else would you like to share, and what is your take-home message for us today?
Well, my take-home message is simple. Let us realize that we are one. And it is only in the sense and spirit of oneness that we have mental and physical health. Without the awareness that we are one and the feeling of oneness, that it brings an action that now cements us together, we will never achieve our life goal, and there can never be peace in the families or in the society. So we need to reunite with the source of power, the source of life, that is Ifunanya. That is Ifunanya. Like the Igbo say goes, we are one. Everybody is one. Secondly, nobody should leave or forsake the brother or sister. Whatever you are doing, remember that for you to be happy, you must make another person happy. As long as another person is not happy, your happiness will not be appreciated. Thank you.
Dalurine.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you very, very much. I think there was no other question coming in for now. Let me just quickly screen. I think that's it. Okay. So, again, Dalurine, Dr. Gilbert Madubuike, who told us about the efficacy of Ifunanya Psychotherapy that he developed. Thank you very, very much for your perspective, for the ideas that you shared with us, the insights that you gave to us. Thank you outside very much for the questions you were asking, for your interest, for your comments, for your time, for your patience. Thank you very, very much. I'm very, very inspired by your approach, and I would also love to read more about it. My heart is full, my mind is full, my body is full. Holistically, the way you told us. Thank you very, very much for your time and the knowledge that you shared with us today. And please, if you have any questions, feel free, even after this interview, to reach out to me or to Dr. Madubuike. I can also connect you. I will upload this video later on my YouTube channel, Health Exchange, which is linked to my bio as well. So in case you want to rewatch it or share it with other people, feel free to do so. And feel free to subscribe to the channel, to like videos, to give feedbacks, comments, to share it with other people. We would be very happy, or I would be very happy and grateful, so that we can see how can we build further bridges between psychotherapists and also psychotherapeutic approaches, and how we can diversify our health care and our healthcare systems and services. So, Dalurine, and I wish everyone a happy Sunday.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be invited, and whenever I'm invited, I also be happy. Thank you very much for, considering me fit to appear before you. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much.